Hello, everybody. Welcome to NJPW Puroresu Review. I am your host, the very tired Andre C. Right over here, it's the United Empire Princess herself. It's Melball. How you doing, Melball?
I'm doing great, Andre. I had a nice leg day this morning. Wasn't interrupted by anything. That was nice. I was also there really early because I had a really good sleep last night. I went to bed early, partially not because I wanted to, but partially because I couldn't stay awake anymore. And I got
I know that.
10 hours of sleep.
Lucky. I got
It
like
was
five.
nice.
I got like 5.5.
I got in bed really early. It was really nice. And now I'm all done up today. I'm feeling pretty. How are you doing, my friend?
Tired. Long day, work, all that stuff. That work was fine. Nothing wrong with work, but just tired from not getting a lot of sleep and just trying to catch up on everything.
I feel that. I feel that. I'm finally
Yeah.
getting around to some of our stardom stuff, and I'm like, man, crazy cupcakes happening over there.
Yeah, we might have to make some edits on how we do certain shows a week. We might just end up having to do like a weekly wrap up of for each show. I don't know because there's so much, especially starting in the next week. There's gonna be so much stuff starting on the 10th with Stardom's 5 star starting. We might just have to like compress it all into one show and per week per each, like one New Japan. We don't know. There's a lot.
We'll figure it.
You'll get content. We'll be talking about all the nights of the show. We just might not be doing it as extensively as we are at the moment because there's going to be so much to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, let's get into it because we got some great shows to talk about today, my friends.
Yes. Before we do that, I want to thank each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining us here. We really do appreciate all of you giving us support that you do. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, no, don't forget to share us out. Tell your friends, family, and just weird people. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
Hello.
Hello. Uh-oh.
All those weird people, just like you and me.
Yeah. Yeah. C'est la vie.
Say la vie. Let's get into it. Let's talk some New Japan. Nights number 5
Mhm.
and 6 of the G1 Climax. Let me get into my notes here. And we're kicking it off with Mel's pick. She picked Shingo Takagi versus Callum Newman. This match was awesome. I thought these two just tore the place down. Um, Takagi really using his power throughout with Newman having to
Mhm.
play. It felt like a junior versus a heavyweight in this because Newman isn't that big comparatively to Shingo Takagi. Like he's tall, a little bit taller, but he's the
Mhm.
mass of
Mhm.
Takagi, man. And it just kind of what I felt like, but it felt really good. It's like, and even like Newman trying to do a little Takagi in this, and then Takagi doing a little new. Takagi doing that like running back and forth like Newman does. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a beautiful spot where Newman ends up dropkicking Takagi off the apron, then does the Kota Ibushi triangle moonsault to the floor. He then sends him back in and hits the pip pip cheerio forearm off the top rope for 2. I was like, ooh, even Walker called it the pip pip cheerio, or maybe it was
Mhm.
Henare. No, Henare called it the pip pip cheerio. I think it was
Yes.
Henare
Yes.
because Osprey's his boy, right? So
Yes, yes.
yeah, just there's a beautiful spot where the Os cutter gets stopped into a gory special. Oh, just the transitioning there was so good.
Oof.
Um, Newman hits this huge running kick, but Takagi just pops right back up and hits a pumping bomber for 2. Just so good.
Mhm.
Tornado kick by Newman at one point, but Takagi ends up lariating Newman out of the air when he goes for the Os cutter. He's flying through the air and then just bang, just right to the back of his head. I was like, oh yes, that looks so good. Takagi was just on fire in this match.
Mhm.
And follows it up with another lariat for 2. They get into this match. Last of the Dragon gets reversed, but Takagi drops Newman with a shot, and then he hits a poison Rana. Like the Takagi poison Rana. I was like, wow. Newman
Mhm.
the pumping bomber. Takagi starts hitting strikes into the DDT, but Newman does that hands in the way plant and then to kind of block and flip through it, and he hit and then pops up onto the rope, comes back, Oz Cutter for the win. And I did like after the match, if Takagi's like kind of pissed, he's on the outside, and even Newman just gives him the bow, and Takagi just goes at like a more like very angry bow, like, like
It was
it was
like a fine then.
yeah. Slapped the ring apron as he did it too. I was like, yeah.
Mhm.
He gave him
Mhm.
the respect, but I like that.
Yes, yes. This match is why I'm repping United Empire tonight. Can't really tell with this lighting, but the makeup's green too.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, I went all out for this because this match was so fracking good. I watched this, I'm like, how in the frick are you gonna follow up the rest of the show with this? Like, this was main event worthy for me. And given the rest of the show, like the rest of the show is pretty solid also, but I really felt that this could have been a fire main event.
Mm.
Um, I felt that, like you mentioned, it was a really great battle of styles. Takagi being the more heavyweight and Callum wrestling more a junior style. Um, I felt that Shingo kind of went back to his junior roots in this, as you mentioned, with that Poison Rana, having to run the ropes with Callum, trying to keep up with him. It was like he was starting to kind of pull things out of his past to try to keep up with the youth of Callum Newman. Um, yeah, we love, you know me, and I love that lariat punch combo that Shingo always does. Sometimes he does the DDT, sometimes he follows with a lariat. The first combination he did the lariat, and he actually nailed Callum with it. The second time he went for the DDT, also hit that one, but Callum flipped right on through the DDT. It was just, as you
Yeah.
mentioned, the transitions in this so good. Um, the height and the tightness, like just how straight up and down Callum Newman can do that moonsault from the turnbuckle is unfreaking real. Takagi was so close to that corner, and he had no problem. He just it landed right on top of him. There wasn't any movement that Takagi had to do to make sure that it got landed upon, like you can see sometimes here. It was so perfect. Um, there was okay, what was this? The Oz cutter into the okay. There was the wheelbarrow attempt, or sorry, Oz cutter attempt that Newman did, where I think that was the gory special. I just
Mm.
didn't know what it was called. Um, I wrote down a really weird description for it. Do you want to? I wrote down reverse wheelbarrow facebuster thingy.
Yeah, it's a gory special. Get caught him on his back and then let
Yeah,
him go
yeah,
out.
just
Yeah,
dropped
gory
him.
special.
Didn't know that's what that was called.
Named after the legendary Gory Guerrero.
I've been telling you to do this educational content, sir. Help a Melball out.
Hey,
I've been getting better.
according
I've
to
been
some
getting
people,
better.
I don't know moves. According to some people.
Yeah, and according to some people, the moves that I have, like the names that I have, are stupid.
Oh, I wasn't talking about that person.
Let me see here. The sliding lariat. Yeah, there was a couple sliding lariats by Shingo, in particular in this match that were just so good. They were like he was hitting them like pumping bombers. It's crazy. Um,
Do do
oh,
do
there
do.
was a pumping
Sorry.
bomb. I know, I'm trying to understand what I was meaning in this note because it said there was a pumping bomber attempt by Shingo that was met with Callum's foot that
Mm,
fed into another pumping bomber that was an inside out. So that
mm.
Callum took that inside out pumping bomber. It was so good.
It
I
was a
always
great block
appreciate,
spot. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But then the actual like I really appreciate people who can do that inside out spot good.
Mm.
There's some people who don't do it very well, and they just end up landing like a sack of shit. This looked so good just because the speed and movement in which it was done, it just landed so perfectly. Um, the comeback by Callum where he dropped Shingo with the jumping knee strike was so good. Because the height that he gets on that knee strike, he's so tall as it is, but those legs are so freaking long. He just gets so much height. It was almost like he like up kneed Shingo in the face
Mhm.
and went to infinity and beyond above his head. It was great. Um, there's the Spanish fly that Callum always hits. Very, very good. It looks so good. Um, when Callum kicked out of that one pumping bomber close to the end there, I actually popped. I was like, because at this point, as much as I love Shingo, and Shingo is one of my top 3 wrestlers of New Japan, I was fully invested in 110,000% behind Callum in this one.
Mhm. Me
Um,
too.
yeah, this is where the lariat DDT or lariat punch DDT combo came, where Callum popped right through there, which fed into the win for him. Holy fracky crap. Oh, I was so happy with this match. And like I said at the beginning of my little rant here, I didn't know how the rest of the show could follow up on this. I felt like this should have been the main.
Yeah, I agree. I could very much agree with you. We move on to the second match, in which are the very solid match. I thought these two gelled well. The Sanada versus Gabe Kid. The end of this match comes. Um, Sanada dodges a rebound lariat, gets Kid up from and hits Magistry, misses a Shining Wizard. Kid hits shots, hits a lariat. Sanada flips through a German attempt, hits the Shining Wizard, goes for deadfall, but Kid reverses it into the pile driver for 2. Sanada comes back with the Rana, hits a backflip out of the corner into the skull end, which looked like AJ Styles style in DDT when he used to do the backflip into the DDT. I love that move. But skull end. They end up reversing each other a bunch of times, and somebody gets a reversal into deadfall for the win.
Mm-hmm. Um, no shame for this one with Gabe Kidd. I mean, the strong champion is not lessened by this. This is the former IWGP World Champion. Has had some shocking losses in this G1 Climax, but I was also very happy with this match. Gabe Kidd has really brought the intensity in this G1. And what I loved about it is that we had been seeing a little bit more personality coming out of Sanada based on who he's wrestling. I feel like we still saw some of that personality coming out of Sanada with Gabe Kidd, and I love it. It's no longer G1 Yoshihashi, it's G1 Sanada. I
Yep.
almost couldn't get it out there. Shinada.
Shanata.
You know what that reminded me of? Remember Ace Ventura 2 when nature calls?
I
Shaka.
haven't watched that since it came out.
Oh no. Movie night.
I rewatched Pet Detective. I love that movie. The second one was good.
Oh,
I'm not nothing against it. It just was to me just didn't hit the same way. I don't know what it was.
oh, I love that second one. We're gonna have a movie night.
We have a lot of movies we got to watch.
We do. We do. We've slowly checked some off the list. We got
We
Cloudy with
talked
a Chance of Meatballs 1 and 2,
and Emperor's New Groove.
and Emperor's New Groove, and part of Zootopia.
But I already seen that. I already
I
seen.
hadn't.
Yeah, you hadn't. It's a great movie. We just so late when we started it, so
We were also very intoxicated. Let's
that's
move on.
also true. We move on to Shota Umino versus Great-O-Khan. I thought this was good. It's definitely not the worst match on the show. That comes in the main event. But it was good. I just don't think they ever felt. I don't think they felt that chemistry in this match as well as others. Like I thought
Mhm.
they did well. Nothing wrong with this match. It was a good match. It's just I
Very
don't know.
solid.
I never really felt myself invested in this one. Good match.
Mhm.
In this match, Khan hits a sleeper suplex, but Umino goes for a sleeper suplex, but Umino reverses with a backslide, gets him into the cradle DDT. Beautiful cradle DDT. Only gets 2, so he stands up and hits a Blaze Blade and the Death Rider for the win.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I kind of felt the same way. Like I really enjoyed this match. Very like in-ring sound match. It just wasn't something that I Something was missing, and I kind of felt it was not either one in particular's fault. The one thing I did want to mention that I appreciated in this match was there was one point where Ocon did fire up, and I was like, oh my God, did he just? And Walker confirmed on commentary that he did, in fact, shout out his former partner, Kitamura. R.I.P. I miss seeing him.
Hmm.
He was a really great big guy wrestler, and it made me happy to see that Great O'Con was still thinking about his former partner in this.
Yeah. Okay, I
Mhm.
thought great match, and I loved Henare's commentary throughout too. Because again,
Mhm.
he's
Mhm.
talking to a man who's one of his tag team partners, one of his stablemates, and I love. And then
Mhm.
walk them at the end when he goes for Blaze Blade, and they're both and like Walker's talking about it, like, oh no, and Henare's just like, no, don't do it. Like it was just, I love the dynamic there.
Yeah, yeah. Hanari and Stewart did very, very well on commentary. I was very impressed.
Yeah, I really like
Ooh,
Henare's part of the team.
I did
So
not think that this was gonna be your pick, though.
it was so good, and it's
Good.
and not just like I'm a Zack Sabre Jr. versus Jake Lee. I'm a Sabre Jr. fan for never
Mhm.
this, um, but dude, Lee in that like the rolling in the beginning, he just rolled with Sabre. He even got
Mhm.
up and then sat down to keep and got into the grapple again with Sabre. Like he was that was great, man.
Mhm. I didn't know that Lee had like, I knew he had some technical background. He just doesn't always show it. But
Mm,
man, when you're going against someone like Zack Sabre Jr., yeah, and you gotta pull out all the stops. And
mm.
boy, howdy did he.
Oh yeah. The Saber pulling the armbar over the rope, Suzuki style. Loved it. I
Yes.
loved it. Just a awesome match. Lee's choking Saber in the. He's got the rear naked choke on. He's working the body over throughout the match. Like he's been just
Mhm.
taking shot, like the running knees to the midsection. The as it's called the giant killing knee or the giant killing. Is that running knee to the like midsection that he has? Uh,
Oh, okay.
that's what Walker called it. He gets a body scissors. He's elbowing him in the neck, but Saber ends up rolling him into the ropes. Um, just really good technical throughout. It's hard to explain in it because it's a lot of technical. Like Lee getting hits a shot, but Saber reverses the backdrop into a this octopus, but Lee ends up like just hip tossing Saber through. But then Saber gets him down, like trips him down, and stands up and hits a sweet PK. And just really good back and forth. Like again, Lee with that knee to the midsection over and over in this match, just repeatedly with there, choking him. It just hits that another knee, follows it up with the guillotine choke. But Saber just like you can see him fading, and he's like flailing, and he flails and gets the foot on the ropes. Um, yeah, Saber getting a corner European uppercut, but and then hits palm strikes and a haluva kick. Lee hits a shot, gets like fires back, hits a back and gets a backdrop suplex. Uh, Lee goes for the chokeslam, but Saber stops it with kicks, then reverses into another triangle. But Lee ends up getting out and getting into the choke slam. But Saber into the arm bar and then into the double arm bar into the rings of Saturn for the win.
This was so good. Again, a
Mhm,
very surprising match for me because, like, again, I know that Lee has some submission background. I didn't realize he was this technical when he wanted to be. And he was working, again, the smart bastard, appropriately named, working very, very smart to try to counter Zack Sabre Jr. as much as he could. I was very impressed with how he kind of progressed through this match. I honestly expected Sabre Jr. to work him over pretty quickly, but
mhm.
he almost had to struggle a little bit, and this turned into a very poetic style match. Um, I'm curious to see these guys meet again, though, because
Oh
like
god,
they
yes.
were so comparable in height and stature that it made this kind of like almost like a, "Ooh, who's gonna pick up the win here?" And now that Jake Lee's kinda had a taste of what it is that Zack Sabre Jr. does, this gives him an opportunity to maybe study him a little bit more, pick up a little bit more in his arsenal. He's got a good faction of people to work with in Gato, in David Finlay. Gabe Kidd could probably teach. I mean, he's British too. He could probably teach him some stuff that, Zack Sabre Jr. would know as well. I would love to see these two meet again, and maybe at some point in time, I would like to see Zack Sabre Jr. get that TV title back. I
I
would
want
love to see
Sabre to
them
get the
fight.
world title.
Hey, you know what? Whatever title, give it to him and then give Jake Lee a title opportunity because I feel like those two could have a very good build up to that as well.
100%. So from the highs of the highs to the lowest of the lows, this
Sweet baby
match was
Jesus.
not good. I'm sorry. I'm really losing steam on Naito. He hasn't had a good performance all tournament.
Mhm.
I don't know if he's doing this intentionally, like playing it up like he's old and he's. You okay?
Yeah, my headphones are just
Oh,
tangled up.
but I don't know if he's playing it up or if he's lost something because again, it's just this is
Maybe that's the play.
yeah, and this is the weakest match because again, him and Evil have had great matches in the past, and this was just
Mhm.
terrible. And then Kanemaru getting involved on this and taking out Bushi at commentary, and just so much bullcrap in this, and then just beating the piss out of Naito for
Shenanigans.
yeah, Bushi then making the save at one point, hitting Kanemaru, and then taking out Dick with the corner pad on the floor, with just beating them both up. The end of the match comes. Evil sent into the exposed corner, and Naito gets the enziguri and the tornado DDT for 2. The ref gets knocked down, but little Dick comes in, but he ends up throwing the powder in Evil's face by accident. And then Kanemaru comes in to do the Santori surprise to Naito, but he accidentally hits Dick Togo. And Bushi ends up hitting the mist to Kanemaru, sending into the floor and hitting that rocket like Tope Suicida. Naito, and then Naito, they're thinking, okay, Naito's getting this. Running Destino for 2. But you're like, okay, so he starts setting up for Destino. He goes for it, but Evil reverses into everything is evil for the win. So, yeah, Evil's still in.
Yeah. It was a very underwhelming win. Like they really did set it up like, LIJ is firing up, taking back control of the match. Had a Destino. That should have been the end of it. It's odd the way they had it go.
Mhm.
And yeah, I echo the sentiment. I wouldn't say he hasn't had like not a good match this tournament, but I would say that this meeting of Naito and Evil would certainly not be one of their better ones, which is disappointing because I had a lot of hope for this one. Because we've said it before, I'll say it again. Each individual member of the House of Torture is good. They're so damn good. But for some reason, together as a conglomerate, if you put two or more of them together, they suck donkey balls. They're so bad. And it brings down their quality of entertainment, which is disappointing. You okay over there?
No, you said conglomerate, and that made me laugh. No,
Is that a word? Did I use it in the wrong context?
no, you did it right. It's just it's Mark Briscoe on AEW has been just going insane with his new group, the Conglomeration. It's like him, Kyle O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy. They're known as the Conglomeration. It makes no sense, but it's awesome. So every time I hear the word conglomerate now, I laugh.
Well, I didn't know that. That was AEW, you said?
On AEW ROH, all that mix. Yeah, it's the
Oh,
Conglomeration.
that's different.
It
Hey,
is.
you know what? I mean, for whatever reason, everything Orange Cassidy touched turns to gold. So, go ahead with your bad selves.
I used to hate that guy, and I think he's phenomenal now. So
I still hate him.
yeah, but you're weird. But the good kind of weird. We get quick point update. So on top 4-0 is Evil and Zack Sabre Jr. Then you got Shingo, Takagi, Gabe Kidd, Callum Newman, Sanada, and Shota Umino all 2-2 with 4 points. You have Jake Lee and Tetsuya Naito, both 1 and 3 with 2 points. And then you have the Great Okan alone in last place, 0 and 4, 0 points.
Which is, I really hope that they kind of pull a bit of a Cinderella with him,
Mm.
because that feels very insulting, given how good he is and how hard he works.
Like, for everybody that he's lost to, I haven't had a problem with it yet. Because, again, he's lost to people. He's either lost to Shota Umino, who's on his come up in the company. Was it Gabe Kid? He lost a Kid who, again, on his come up in the company. Newman, or not Newman, Sabre, not surprised. Again, this guy's kind of, they're doing a certain kind of run with him right now. And even the loss to Shingo Takagi, again, a guy who is a top tier and guy too. So like it doesn't surprise me. But again, it's later in the tournament where I need to see him beat certain people later on. Like I'd like to see him get the win over Sanada just to give him a little credibility. Like I like to see that. I don't know how
Evil,
the Evil definitely needs to lose to him. That's for sure.
for the love of all things holy, evil. Gato, fix it,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, so we move on, and then I'm actually very interested in seeing what him and Callum Newman do, because that's going to be an interesting matchup. Watching those two watching the teammates battle it out. Henare and Cobb are going to do it too. Henare and
It's
Cobb
true, it's
too.
true.
So yeah.
It's true, it's true.
So we get into day number 6. We get to Melball's pick right off the hop again. It's El Phantasmo versus Boltin, Oleg, ELP. I even wrote this because he said it in commentary. ELP using his 19-year experience gap to out-wrestle Boltin early. They said they have a 19-year gap in how long, like comparatively, from when Boltin debuted to ELP's debut. 19 years of experience different here.
That's why they, yeah.
And they're only 7 years apart in age. And they have a 19-year gap. That's where maybe actually I don't think it's only 6. He's turning 38 this year. But I think Boltin turned 31 this year. So turns 31 this year. So yeah, 7-year gap. Like it's but 19-year gap experience. That's insane. Yeah.
You wouldn't know it from this match.
No. Again, like Boltin using the power throughout. Like it's Boltin overpowering. That's what he's done for. But ELP using his speed, the high flying ability. He ends like doing smart, sending Boltin to the floor, hitting a tope suicida. He goes to the top, but decides against like Jado even like stops him from doing a dive off the top to the floor, which I'm like, that might have been a good choice.
Given the knee issues that he has been having, I would say yes.
So he just jumps down to the floor, hits sudden death, sends Boltin in, hits a springboard swanton into the lion salt but he only gets 2. ELP with kicks, gets him up into a burning hammer. I was like, it wasn't quite a UFO because he got him in the position for UFO where he ends up spinning and letting somebody go, which is identified flying opponent because he's turned that move into now the burning hammer. And goes to the top. Thunder Kiss 86 off the top, but Boltin kicks out at 2.9. Just Boltin gets him up for a kamikaze, but ELP fights it off. So Boltin ends up hitting an F5 million, sending ELP over the top rope to the floor on the F5 million. And he just comes crashing down. I'm like, what? So he gets back in, gets 2 flying body sausages for 2. The kamikaze is avoided again into a tender DDT, but that gets blocked. But ELP ends up getting a small package and then a schoolboy, both for 2. Boltin comes back with that just shotgun drop king it is, and he picks him up kamikaze for the win.
This match was so fun. So fun. Because we saw this interesting clash of styles. As you mentioned, the size and power of Boltin Oleg versus that speed and like kind of aerial technicality that ELP has. Knee, obviously, a problem, as you mentioned, Jado did stop him from doing the dive off the turnbuckle, which again I also think was very, very smart. Um, the purple narple that ELP hit on Bull No Leg, we got to shout out. We got to shout out the fun shenanigans because
Oh,
it
so
wouldn't
good.
be an ELP match without a purple nurple Dermis Destroyer. And he's been kind of going away, I think, from the Dermis Destroyer. He doesn't bring that one out too much anymore. But the
It's more.
purple one is still fun.
Well, it was very much a tag team move for him too. When he would do it with Ishimori when they were the world cutest tag team, and when he would do it with Hikuleo a bit, but Hikuleo would hold a guy. A lot of the times,
Mhm.
most times I've seen it more than anything is when he's in a tag team and somebody's holding the person while he does it.
Yeah. So, but we have seen him do it once in a
Oh yeah.
while. If he's like on the top turnbuckle, he'll pull up someone's shirt and just sort of rake in the back or something like that. But yeah, he has kind of steered away from it. It is more of a heel move. We are seeing him be more of the sad man face right now. I am hoping by the end of the tournament he gains some of his smile back in there and turns on the jacket again, and we start seeing the flashy, the happy ELP. Um, the gut wrenching yeety thing by Boltin Oleg is always so super impressive that he can do that. But like, there's some people who do it a lot easier, go up a lot easier for it. ELP went up like a dream for it. It was so good. The Toki Suicida by ELP that sent Bolton ass over tea kettle over the barricade there was so good.
So good.
So good. And he just woo like just right over there, no problem. It was so good. These
And
guys,
that was right near the English guys. I'm pretty sure it happened right near them.
yeah, I think it was in between the Japanese and English guys.
Yeah, but they said it. Oh my god, that happened right beside us.
Yeah, because you could see Walker, I think, in the background.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really fun. The lion salt from ELP, always very, very impressive. The strength of Bolton is just so heckin' impressive. There's one point he went for a suplex and he just muscled him right up. I absolutely loved it. Just so impressive. There was also one point, last thing I want to mention, while setting up the end here, Bolton did a splash to ELP while he was laying down on the mat. I
Mm-hmm.
like that. Weakens the back a little bit, gets him set up for that easy kind of transition into the kamikaze. Tremendous match. I absolutely love this. But then the storytelling that we're seeing happening with ELP has just been so tremendous and was the second best part of this match
Mm-hmm.
because we're seeing this evolution simultaneously happening. We saw two stories happening in this match, and you know me and my stories. I love them. So good.
Oh, you're starting to sound like my mother on her
Uh,
stories.
I'm getting up there, man. I like my stories.
Gosh, you're still young.
I feel it anyway.
All right,
Sometimes I look good.
we're gonna move on to my pick of the show of the day 6.
Hey,
Didn't expect that, did you? Even though
I did not.
we've been picking Uemura a lot. Like I don't know what this dude's got some shine on him this tournament. Like it's just I don't know what it is, but we're getting G1 Uemura, and I'm liking it. I'm liking this Uemura.
Yeah. The last couple matches, like the beginning of the tournament was a little iffy. First couple nights was a little iffy, but he's been on fire last little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Take us into it.
So yeah, I love Walker. He's talking about Uemura being all about the fundamentals and having to evolve,
Mhm,
but having so
mhm,
much success so far in this G1 with the
mhm,
fundamentals. So does he need to evolve? Is the question he was posing. Again, he was alone on commentary for this show.
mhm.
But yeah, I want to hear Zack Sabre Jr. call one of these shows. I really do, so badly.
I feel like that might be a censorship issue. So you're
Very
just
possible.
gonna point out there. He'd be calling everyone dickheads.
Yeah,
He'd
but
be rec-
it's
he'd
the
be
internet.
giving to the retired wrestlers fund quite a bit.
It's the internet, so it
Same
doesn't
with
matter.
Kid. Same with
Like
Kid.
I guess they're on. I would love to hear Kid on commentary. Oh my god,
You
that would.
may as well just have a little coin box there for him to contribute.
Yeah, Cobb going surfing on the back of Uemura in the match.
So
Uemura
good.
sending Cobb to the floor. Goes for the plancha, but uh, Cobb catches him. But because he's going to throw him into the post, Uemura slips down and runs Cobb into the post. Just some good throughout. Cobb catching catches him at one point, rolls through the crossbody, and picks him up into this beautiful slam, but misses the standing moonsault. And
Mhm.
but it just
Sort of. He kinda caught the, like, legs,
mm-hmm.
yeah, on that, but it wasn't enough that it would be damaging.
Well, Uemura was moving out of the way though at the same
Yeah.
time, right? So yeah,
They had, like they played footsies. It was foot-to-foot contact.
yeah. Again, I love the way they did it though. It looked really
Yeah, oh,
good
yeah.
in that sense. Um,
Mhm.
Beautiful high cross off the top later in the match. High cross off the top by Uemura. That guy's got a beautiful high cross off the top. Um,
Yes.
Really liking that frog splash. I think he's picking up some things from a certain El Presidente, stealing from him. They're looking very familiar, but he ends up missing the frog splash, and Cobb picks Uemura up into the rampage, and then he just comes falling down on him with that elbow to the jaw. Looks so good. He picks him up. The end of this match, he picks him up, goes for F5000, but Uemura lands on his feet. They're trading strikes. Uemura ends up rolling through Tour of the Islands, gets a couple roll ups on Cobb. Cobb fights back up, starts hitting shots, hits an F5000, and then hits Tour of the Islands to break the undefeated streak of Yuya Uemura.
Mm. Mhm. And, like, as great as this match is, I'm happy that it ended that way because the last thing I would want is Yuya right now trying to challenge for that TV title. I think there's other plans for Uemura in this.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I'm happy how this one kind of went. There I only have a few notes on this one. There was the arm drag and drop kick attempts that Uemura was doing at the beginning of it, which was hilarious. And I love the way they played it because it was just like hitting a brick wall. And trying to do the arm drag on Cobb, it was just yeet, just a full stop and reversal of that. It was funny. I liked it. It was a nice comedic difference in size and power. Um, there was one point where it looked like Cobb tried to lift Yormura over his head, and it didn't look like he could quite make it. So then he just started feeding him those knee strikes to the ribs, which I know is a regular move of Cobb's. Love it. Especially in this, he was getting Umar so high and driving him down so hard into those knees. So good. I loved it. The last thing I wanted to mention was that the crossbody attempt being caught by Cobb was so cool because, like, just the power that Jeff Cobb has. It's not fair, Kevin Kelly. It's not fair. Yeah, good pick. Good pick.
So we move on to the match I was expecting Melball to take. It was Konosuke Takeshita versus
That
Henare.
was a close second.
These two just beat the piss out of each other, and it was great. The end of this match comes. They're trading shots. Henare hits a headbutt, but Takeshita comes back and drops him with the elbow. He hits the running knee to the face. In the middle of the ring, and the power drive knee. But Henare comes back with a leaping headbutt for two. He goes for Streets of Rage, but is hit with it's hit with a suplex. Then Konosuke reverses into his. Actually, I think he reverses into the Streets of Rage of his own, follows it up with another suplex, then goes into the Raging Fire Falcon Arrow for the win. Absolutely incredible match with these two.
Mhm.
Just incredible.
Yeah. This was a close second for me because, yeah, this was a straight up strong style
Mm.
match. It was so good. These guys were, and like, I don't know if you saw the undercard matches at all, Andre, but the night before, Henare and Takeshita were actually tagged together. Who
Together?
did they? together. Yes, they were actually against the Young Lions, Shomakato and Katsuya Murashima. And it was a story that started there that ended up feeding into the animosity of this night, I felt, because they worked together, but reluctantly, like hesitantly. There was a level of respect that was kind of being like kind of started in that tag match, and then kind of I felt evolved into the story that happened in here, where they were just trying their damnedest to one up each other and hit each other as hard as possible. um there was a DDT on the apron by Takeshi that was just so good. There was the diving lariat by Takeshita, also so good. Henare kicking out of Takeshita's Blue Thunder Bomb. When he hits that Blue Thunder Bomb, you guys need to watch it. People bounce. They bounce at least a couple feet in the air. It is insane how hard he drives you down. That Henare was able to kick out of that was absolutely mental. And the Brainbuster. The Brainbuster by Takeshita is like the most picture perfect brainbuster I think I've seen in a hot minute.
Mm.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We move on to the match I hated most on this show. David Finlay versus Ren Narita. I was expecting, because Ren Narita, while he has been cheating throughout this tournament, has been having really good, strong matches. David
Yeah.
Finlay, the heel, so I figured they'd be going into this and they'd be like going and doing that whole, your Bullet Club, your Bullet Club adjacent, where maybe we'll be cool in this. No, they just, they beat the piss out of each other early on, but Narita got his first taste in this tournament of outside help, and Kanemaru showed up.
Again.
I didn't. It took it away from me once Kanemaru showed up in this. The match was good. Don't get me wrong. I hated this the way they did it, because it just took me out of the match so much, and I'm like,
what did we do to deserve this?
Yeah, it's like he gets whipped. Narita gets him whipped into the exposed corner, and again, the match also felt kind of odd with both men being such insane heels that it especially and that's where I think I had the problem with Kanemaru most. He didn't do a lot in this match, but it's because he was healing on a super heel in David Finlay. And it threw me off. Narita,
the heel master against super heel.
Yeah. Narita distracts ref. Kane gets the Santori surprise. Kanemaru gets the Santori surprise. I was rated as Kane just for abbreviation's sake. Finlay ends up fighting off Kanemaru. Gets this Lele, but gets kicked in the balls. Narita gets the push-up bar, but Finlay ends up fighting it off because he still has a shillelagh. It's like knocking the push-up bar away. He ends up getting him with a buckle bomb, then another, then the release power bomb for the win. And I think it's the ending, even there, kind of screwed me up, because I'm like, this all should have led to a Narita win here with everything that happened in here towards the end. And Finlay still pulled the win out. I'm impressed, and I like it, don't get me wrong. It just felt odd to me.
The ending felt odd, but I definitely felt the right person kind of won in that. We can't have Finlay losing too much more in this tournament to kind of solidify, I would say, his status as global champion. That being said, yeah, I have to agree. The shenanigans did kind of take me out of it. Because it's like, as much character work as Finlay was trying to do, and he was very vocal throughout this match. We always see him very vocal. This evolution of him is quite loud, and I love it, because those are the wrestlers that refuse to go quietly into the night. They're going to give you the best kinds of matches. They did their damnedest, but like, yeah, something about this was just missing a mark with me as well, and I do feel it kind of came from some of the shenanigans, because Gato also getting involved in there,
and that,
like so much shit.
Yeah, that's what I think. What bothered me most is that both guys were trying. Finlay wasn't trying to cheat as much as Narita, but he was trying to do underhanded tactics. Gato was getting involved at points, And that's where I
Mhm.
think it really threw me off that both people were doing exactly the same thing. And in reality, if both men are cheating, it should be funny. It shouldn't end up being pretty goddamn hilarious.
Yeah.
And this just was like, okay, this was good, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. And like I said, it's a match I dislike most, and I still think it was a good match. So,
Mhm, mhm. I
yeah.
agree. It was still a very good match. It was just the shenanigans were a little bit.
So on the main event of the evening, it is Hirooki Goto versus Yota Tsuji. The past versus the future. Uh,
Mhm.
the end of this match comes. Goto ends up sidestepping the Gene Blaster into a roll up, but Tsuji comes back and hits a super kick. Goto slips a suplex attempt, then hits GTW, but can only get two. Goto hits a chest kick. He hits an inside out lariat and hits a soup that where he lifts them up and then swings them down into a side effect almost.
Mhm.
It gets that for two. Goto goes for GTR. Tsuji's trying to fight it off. He grabs Tsuji's wrist, pulls it in behind, and GTR. 1, 2, 3. And I went, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. My heart broke a little bit
Yeah.
because I'm like, because I picked Yota Tsuji to steamroll this tournament, and he's just losing, 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 losing.
I picked
He's
this man.
having
I said it in our preview show. I picked him to go undefeated in the block. I said he's going to go 9-0, but then lose in the finals to the Sabre.
And now this is what, 2, 3 losses in a row now? 3 losses?
He's 1-3.
This has to be a Cinderella story. You can't have the cup winner of this year come in and do so poorly.
Well, he's a cup winner.
Um,
He was a cup winner in last year,
you can't have a cup winner do so poorly.
or did he win the cup this year?
He did win it this year because he wanted to win both the G1 and the cup this year.
But didn't he win it? Oh no, because he came back and faced Sanada, and then he won the cup to face Naito and lost to Naito. That's okay. I'm
Correct.
sorry. I
Correct.
have my years messed up and how it
I was gonna
went.
say
Sorry.
what I mean, my ADHD just fucks with my head. I don't know if I'm right or wrong anyway. So at least I was right there. Um, yeah, it feels we can't have the cup winner of this year doing so poorly in the tournament. So is he gonna be our Cinderella story? I sure hope so.
Mm,
Because oof.
the
Although I
only
will say the flow of this match definitely felt like we were looking at mirrored versions of each other. It was like Goto was wrestling a younger version of himself, and Tsuji was wrestling an older version of himself with just some
Mhm.
slight differences in caricature. And what NJPW really does like to do is with its veterans, when they're doing well, they'll put them against these young guys and that they will pick up these wins over the new guys, being like they're not done yet. They're still ready and willing to go. So I do appreciate that kind of message within this win for Hirooki Goto. But as someone who chose Yota Tsuji to win this tournament, damn it.
Mhm. The big thing for this block, it is still super close. Both
Yes.
blocks are super close. It's just you have two outright front runners in A block, in
Hmm.
Sabre and Evil. I heard
Hmm.
about what happened on the 7th, so I know kind of what's going on there with the points.
Okay.
But I haven't watched it yet. But I heard it on another podcast.
Okay.
But I feel like this block is a lot closer from last to first than what
Hmm.
A block is. Because remember, you got two people with 8 points and you got a guy with 0. So like you
Hmm.
feel like the gap is so big that you know sees out where these guys there's only 4 points separating the top from the bottom in this block, right? So
Hmm.
that's our big point. So we'll go over that. So you have Uemura and Konosuke Takeshita each with 3-1 with 6 points. And then you have Henare, Narita, Jeff Cobb, Boltin Oleg, Hirooki Goto, and David Finlay all 2-2 with 4 points. And then in last, you have Yota Tsuji and El Phantasmo, both 1-3 with 2 points. But again, this block is still wide open. Like
Hmm.
it's crazy.
Absolutely. Like if Uemura doesn't win another match for the rest of the tournament, I mean, he could be hooped or he could not be. You know, it really does. You're right. This block is very close.
Yeah, I just it's cool to me. Again,
It
good
is.
looking
It's
block.
very cool. Well,
Yeah.
especially as fans, it gives us something to be very excited about because, like, the less we can look at a tournament and be predicted, like feel that it's predictable, the more we're going to enjoy it and the more fun we're going to have with it. And
Mm-hmm.
this tournament has been very, very fun and has started some new rivalries, started some new stories, and it's probably going to start some more and tell some more. Looking forward to it, man. This has been a great
Yeah.
tournament.
Again, so far, we're again. This show is as of this past Sunday on day
Mhm,
6. Again, I know the 7th and 8th shows happened on Monday and Wednesday, but
mhm,
yeah, I have a little bit. I got spoiled a little bit for the Monday show, but I don't know anything about the Wednesday show. But again, it just
mhm,
this is great. Like I think this
mhm.
tournament has been running so
So good.
smoothly and so well,
Mhm,
and I was disappointed
mhm,
with things, but everything has been at least good. Nothing
mhm,
has been like shitty.
mhm, I
Like
agree.
even Evil and Naito, which I felt was weak, was still a halfway decent match.
Mhm, mhm. It's
Yeah.
been a very strong tournament so far. Even
Mhm.
the things that have been less than stellar haven't ruined the entire night or tournament yet. Yet.
Yeah.
Yet. We
Yes.
we still got a few nights and we still got a lot of torture.
It's very, very true.
Mhm.
But with that, we've come to the end of another episode of NJPW Puroresu Review. You can find me on the X at that Canada Guy, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at that Canada Dude. You can find me on our Facebook page, Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk. You can also find me over in the comment section on the BAM Weekly page, which we know stuff's coming soon. It's gearing up. It's gearing up, eh? So I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to being a part of the team going forward with Bam Weekly, what that's going to evolve into. So lots coming there. So get over there onto the Facebook page,
No.
Bam Weekly. It's going to be there for a little bit longer as Bam Weekly, and they're just going to the name and logo are going to change. So, but the
Mhm.
community will stay the same. Don't
Yes.
forget to check out our local establishment on Twitch and YouTube at twitch.tv/our local establishment and youtube.com/at our local establishment. Last night, me and Ed did our Marvel talk where we talked all the stuff coming out of Hall H. We talked the numbers for Deadpool, already at over $500 million in like 6 days or six. It was I didn't count Wednesday. So in 6 days, they did $500 million. So this movie's tracking to probably hit a billion for the first time in a
Mhm.
while. So for Marvel. So yeah, I come go check that out. We talked about it. We talked all about the doomsday of it all. And we talked all about the secrets of the wars and all that other stuff. We got into it. We talked about it. We talked about those wonderful, wonderful Russos making the return. So go check that out over at youtube.com/at our local establishment. Also, got to give a big shout out to our boy Mike the Ref for simulcasting all of our stuff over at youtube.com/at backbreaker video. If you're watching us there, thank you so very much. And check out our page, Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. You can find Mike live every week for his wrestling content on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and pay per view Sundays. He does the AEW watch alongs. And don't forget the rest of the week, he's playing video games there on Twitch. I know he was in there this afternoon playing games. So go check him out, twitch.tv/Mike the Ref. And you want replays of his gaming content, go to youtube.com/at backbreaker_gaming, where you can find content from him, Mr. PJC, this little dude right here, Rick Jules, and their frequent guest.
Kayla J. Kayla J. Kayla J. Kayla J. We love Kayla J here. That's a weird heart. There we go. Yay. We're not brokenhearted like ELP. We're together.
Mm-hmm. He's literally doing the broken heart thing. I like that he's
Yes,
actually.
it's
Uh,
so sad.
it is. It is.
Mhm.
Melball, where can they find you?
If you're wanting to follow a Melball, you can follow her on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can follow her on everything else: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, Blue Sky, and at Melball Collins. You can also find me on our local establishments programming with this guy every Friday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time for the Japanese Wrestling Update. And you're going to want to be around for that later. Because, man, oh man, we got a lot of shit to talk about. Got 2 weeks worth of stories that we need to chitty chat about. So make sure you show up for that and have some comments ready for us. If you're wanting to also catch me on Astro Pizarro's YouTube channel, you can catch us on Ladies Wrestling Showcase. We do have a show coming up. She did just get a promotion though, so she's working out some stuff, but we will have an episode for you next week on all the great things happening in women's professional wrestling. I was gonna say we ain't no limp around here. We go all the way up.
Oh.
If you're wanting to watch NJPW, we will leave a link in the description box down below. It is njpwworld.com. It is 1,400 yen? 1,200. 1,200
No,
yen?
1,250 yen, and it ends up being like 1,450 Canadian.
1,450 Canadian. Or 10 Canadian. Because we're in Delulu. Oh, hi. Oh.
The other one's
Sad
married.
Melball.
He's
I
only in a
know.
relationship. The other one's married, so
Jesus Christ.
it's easier to break up a relationship than it is to break up a marriage. Come on.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Shout out Sean Spears because we love you and your marriage and your 2 children. And shout out Eddie Thorpe if you're ever single.
Oh, I'm clipping that for sure.
Go watch NJPWworld.com, you guys. The World Television matches are all free, so you can check out. Hi, Sean Spears. You can check out all of Zack Sabre Jr.'s reign. You can check out how Jeff Cobb became the champion. Go check it out. That's right. My trusted friend and colleague, do you have anything else to say to the beautiful people?
All I can tell you is Melball is kind of crazy. I love you all. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Please shout us out to your friends, family, and just the people with the cutest little puppies. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
Hello.
Hello. Also send us pictures of the puppies.
If you want to send me pictures of puppies, go by the way King used to say puppies. Sure.
Bruh.
I don't want to see dog pictures. Come on.
What the puppies? Rude.
Puppies.
That being said, I am your Melball. Over there is the puppy hating Andre.
I don't hate puppies. I love your dog. He's awesome.
He is pretty awesome. We will see you next time. Adios.